This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel scum.
Rebel scum. I'm on the wrong side. There we go. Rebel Scum Podcast. I'm Brock. This is
James.
We're talking Star Wars. You know how we do. Bad Batch came out. Pretty good stuff. I think this season is going to fall under what you like to call, James, as a binge season. I think it will do much better if you just watch the whole thing all at once, quite frankly. The latest episode was like, oh, that was good, but nothing happened. But I know if I watch this episode and the next episode and the episode prior to the one I just watched, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty sick.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've heard that the last couple were like kind of like building up to like the ending. So yeah. We'll see how it ends. Are you excited for the ending?
I mean, it's not like the top thing on my list of like. It's like I watch it because we have the show. I don't know if I would go out of my way to watch it. I mean, I think I would. I don't know. I'm on the high of like there's new episodes each week episodically, so it's like Shogun just finished up. That was an excellent show. Of course, X-Men '97 and Bad Batch. I am a Disney Plus boy. I am in.
I was gonna say I heard the Shogun finale was a bit of a letdown. I heard the show was incredible, but the ending was a bit of a letdown.
I'll talk about Shogun a little later. I thought it was great. And it's just funny that it finishes right on the same, like pretty much the same day I finished watching Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver. The Scar Giver. James, why do they?
The first Rebel Moon, right?
I think my review was like, oh, I think I understand why Lucasfilm passed. Like,
yes.
I have good things to say about Zack Snyder, but like this series is insane. Here's what happened. So like the band of merry rebels go back to this planet that they were protecting at the beginning of the first part of this movie or mini-series or whatever they're calling this thing. And they spend a good hour just like making it boring as possible because like the planet, like they're farmers, so it's like we gotta harvest our wheat because the Empire's coming, and if we don't give them our entire harvest, they're gonna kill us. And even though it's like if we give them our entire harvest, we're gonna die anyways because that's our food. Fine, I get it. That's a plot device. James, they spend 15 to 20 minutes showing the village people and our main cast harvesting wheat.
I haven't seen it yet, obviously, but I have seen clips on the Twitter because a lot of people. It's funny that you talk about that because I've heard a lot of people discuss this, and the people that I think just want to love this movie are like, it's great, but it's mostly people making fun of it that I see. And I've seen clips, and it's like all like Zack Snyder's slow motion.
Yeah.
And somebody, I think it was at chat just tweeted like, it looks like a whiskey commercial.
Barley and hops from the heartland. Straight. This is from Golden Boulder, Colorado. Golden, Colorado, where we make Coors. No, but like legit, like 20 minutes into this movie, and like we've already set up all our characters. I'm like, I do not care about any of these characters. Like, legit, 20 minutes of the movies, I'm like, I don't care. I don't know why I'm supposed to care. And then they do this harvest scene. And then after that, they're like, okay, now we're going to train all the villagers. So there's like another 15 minutes of training the villagers to be warriors. And I'm like, in any other movie, this would be like a 5-minute montage and be like, cool, we're in. Legit, an hour in, I'm like, what is happening? And I've discovered 0.15 speed on Netflix for another show that takes forever. I'm not joking, James. I put the rest of this movie on 1.5 speed, and I was like, here's the movie. Like, and it's like, I think I should actually, I'm going to go back and start at the beginning and see how much, because it's a 2.5 hour show, or part 2 or whatever. And it's like, I wonder how much that shortens. This movie, okay, watch the second part since you watched the first part. But okay. I'm not joking. The first hour is pointless outside of like, he's like he realized, you don't have a connection with any of these characters. Let's connect it so that inevitably when I kill a bunch of them off, spoilers. It's not a spoiler. It's Zack Snyder. Of course he kills half of his main characters. It's like, but here's the good thing. Zack Snyder can deliver on visuals. If for the last 45 minutes of this movie, I highly suggest just go to the last hour marker of this movie or whatever. Let's just call it a movie. You'll love it, and it's just like, yeah, this would look beautiful as a Star Wars film, like. But like, there's no story. It's just sort of like, there's evil, we have to stop them, and it's just like there's a quick reveal at the end that just sort of sums up. Yeah, I want to make another one of these. It's like his whole 6 of them now. Oh my god! It's just like, no, it is just like this is like a reveal to the main character of like, the actual reality of what's going on, and I was like, yeah. No duh. Like, I verbally said that this morning. I'm like, no duh. Like, yeah, of course it is. The robot that is voiced by Anthony Hopkins, which is interesting, that it has no part in the first movie, just shows up again. He has deer antlers, and it's never explained, and he does one thing.
He has them at the end of the first one, I think. I think in that last...
He does!
At the end. Like, randomly there's a shot of him.
Never explained. Nothing explained to what happened to him in the first movie. Nothing. Not like, it's just like, I went into the woods and I found my heart. It's like I went to the Wizard of Oz and I got like a brain. Like, it's like, that's visually appealing. Like, all his character designs, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Ron Hanzu looks cool. That horse guy looks cool. The fucking the samurai lady with the witch hat, cool. And she's called Nemesis. Oh, that's awesome. The fight scenes, amazing. So, like, legit, like, just watch the last hour of this, and you'd be like, oh, that'd be sick. Let's hire Zack Snyder or whoever does his effects in his movies to make a Star Wars movie. But it made me think about, we're going into The Acolyte. We've seen trailers. We've seen cool lightsaber moves. This movie has cool laser sword scenes. It's just sort of like, does that bode well for Acolyte? Is it like, do we just have, like, if you have like bright laser swords, it's like, is that all we're doing to be won over in a Star Wars like series or film? So I don't know. I highly expect and hope that like Acolyte will be what Zack Snyder would like to do, because the vibes of the fighting in Rebel Moon looks very similar to that of the Acolyte. But will the Acolyte have a story? That's yet to be seen. I will also say this while watching it, when the big evil dreadnought Star Cruiser goes by in Rebel Moon, if you listen really, really closely, it kind of sounds like what George Jetson's like flying car, the shape. If you listen, it has that. But I'm flabbergasted because it's like, and of course this robot like he shows up, saves the day at one point, and he's like, "I will join your band," and I'm like, so we would just watch, and they're like, "I'll go, we'll go and search for the ring, and then we'll save the princess." It's just like, so I just watched 4 hours for you to set up a group like that. They do that in A New Hope in like less than 30 minutes. Like, it's just like, what? It's like the premise was like, I will write a script so that it will make other scripts. I'm like, that seems back. But again, Zack Snyder thrives in like the visuals and it looks awesome. Like, highly suggested for that. Story, don't even bother. Speed walk through the first hour of that movie.
Yeah. That's how my dad got into watching movies on fast forward for like 10 years. He's like, I saw the Transformers movie. I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, I didn't really like it. I go, no. He's like, yeah, I just watched it on fast forward. I watched the action. I fast forward. I'm like, yeah, I guess you can get away with that. Look. So I like Zack Snyder a lot. Like, I think I liked all of his movies pretty much until the first Rebel Moon. I was like, what is like? I was really excited for it because I love Army of the Dead. I think it's too long though, and I'm like, he should have cut. I think if he would have cut the daughter character out, it's a way stronger movie because it's like that part just feels like, God, we're still doing this. But like Rebel Moon, I was like, okay, he's gonna like bring that to space. I was excited for it. And it just, for me, it felt like the whole thing was lost. Like, I was watching it. There were times when I was watching it, and I don't know what it was, but I couldn't figure out where people were in the context of, like, the room they were in.
Yeah.
It's all green screen, and, like, and I have no problem with that, but it was showing in parts where I'm like, I don't, like, there was an action scene that I was so, like, just like, I know where they are, but I don't believe it. Like, it just felt like it was like, they were here, and then like, okay, now it's close up here, but it's all the same. Like, it just felt so weird. So I was disappointed in the first one, just in that I was expecting. I don't want to say more from Zack Snyder because his usually his plots aren't over. Like, they're not. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure them out. But like, they're fun movies. Like, usually his movies are like, you get them and they go. What annoys me with this Rebel Moon is if you hear him now he was on the Happy Sad Confused podcast, and he's talking all these podcasts. He goes, yeah, the great thing is I made this little PG-13 movie that's this long, but then Netflix said do whatever you want with an R-rated version, and I'm like, what? So in the summer they're going to release both of them, and they're going to be like 12 hours long each, and they're going to be R-rated, and apparently there's a ton of like swearing and sex in them or something, and like all the scenes are the same but different, he said, and I'm just like, I'm so baffled by, because I sent you a thing he said about Sucker Punch. How like, I want to do it Sucker Punch, and it's like, dude, do you ever like make a movie like? And like I said, I like Zack Snyder movies, but at what point does a studio say, figure out what you're making? We're giving you money to make this. Either make this or we're not hiring. Like, I don't get it. How think about like Man of Steel's the only one. Dawn of the Dead and Man of Steel are the only two movies where he hasn't come back and made like a 12-hour director cut. And this one he made with the purpose of making a director's cut. Like, they made like a lesser movie so they could do a director cut. It's like they're forcing the Snyder cut on us without anyone asking for the Snyder cut of Rebel Moon, because they're in cahoots with each other. Like, the Snyder cut of Justice League is one thing because he left the project and they did something completely different with it. That one's justified. This is like, what we could do? We could do a mediocre version of the movie, and then you could do a better version. I'm speculating it's better. I don't know. Like, would you be interested in watching the Snyder cut of Rebel Moon?
Oh God, no! Like, it's just like you didn't like. It's just like, I feel like directors' cuts should only be rewarded. It's like, the movie was a success. Well, I have a bunch more things to say. Okay, like, I mean, Apocalypse Now, people loved it, and then there's like the redux. It's like, oh wow, I would love to watch this movie again. Lord of the Rings, they did those extended cuts. George Lucas has literally remade Star Wars like 7 times. And it's just like,
but he hasn't changed it.
That's the thing. Yeah,
he changes it, but it like everything within it is the same. Like it's the same story, is what I'm saying.
it's here's how I looked at it. I mean, one, I was like, I think Zack Snyder can direct a movie. He can tell a story through visuals. I don't think he's good at writing characters per se. Yeah. I think he thrives better in pre-existing IP. So it's like maybe Army of the Dead, and what was the first one he did? Did he do Day of the Dead? Was that him? Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, yeah, I think he's better to not be in charge of the story. Like, do what you need to do to like take a script and turn it in like that. That's a whole different thing. But like, I liked both his Spider-Mans, both his Superman. I liked the Snyder Cut of Justice League. It's a great movie. It's just 4 hours long, so it's not a movie. And Watchmen is a great film. Like, that was when I learned who Zack Snyder was, Watchmen. But he basically just remade the comic. Yeah. 300. Yeah. So right. So it's like, yeah, he is very good at taking someone's idea and then making his version of it. Sucker Punch is a cool movie. Like, what is the story is very bizarre. Yeah. It's like visuals, and then this weird story about abuse, and you're like, I mean, it was a interesting swing, but it's just like ever since Snyder Cut, like now it's like if he's like, oh, I really want to like take another chance at this, I'm like, no, stop, like just finish one idea. But here's the other thing I thought about. Rebel Moon is interesting. He's going to want to churn out at least 2 more of these. You said 6, but at least 2 more before someone starts like, maybe not for you. But I feel like it is an idea that if you keep it alive on Netflix long enough, someone else can come in and actually take, like I said, like the characters are interesting. We just aren't giving it a reason to care. Like I said, there's a robot. Yeah, go ahead.
Is the world interesting? Like the universe of Rebel Moon?
Not really, because it's just sort of like like you said, it's like the planet you spend the most time is this home planet for the main character, like this adoptive planet where she's hiding from the Empire, and it's like that looks real, but then everywhere else they go look like a green screen nightmare, which is like. That's an unacceptable in a post-Mandalorian world. Like, it's just like, come on. I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm never going to watch Rebel Moon again. It's just like, at some point, I just started spite watching it where I'm like...
The first one was, I was watching the first one. Erin had no interest in it. She was doing whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was watching it. And it was the only time in my existence where she's walked in, and I haven't said anything, and she goes, "You really don't like this movie, do you?" And I go, what? Like I didn't like it was just the way I guess I was looking at the screen while I was watching it. I just found it was like a chore to get through some of it. And the second one, I don't know. I'll probably put on the second one at some point. Watch me be the one that loves the second one. I'll be like, that was fantastic. Like, I'm like, you know that farming stuff that you were bashing? Dude, that was amazing. Like, you know what? Part of me is like, I hope I like. Like, I don't want to watch something and not like it. That's the other thing. Is like, I want to watch something and enjoy it. Yeah. And it's, I don't know. This one seems like after the first one, I was really excited for there being 2 parts, and then right after the first one, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to sit through the second one. Like, I don't know if I can, because I don't like watching things I don't like anymore. Like, I'm actually at a point now where I've stopped watching movies. I'm like, I'm just like, why am I doing this to myself? Yeah. And I'll put something I like on instead. So, who knows if I will get to it though, so we can talk about it and compare it to Star Wars. But so you have no interest in the longer versions, the complete.
Oh, I'll watch it. You know me. I'll watch it at some point. And I found the cheat code to it. Just put it on 1.5 speed, and like, I don't know.
It's so frustrating that they're forcing the Snyder cuts on us now. Like, you know what you like? The Snyder cut. I'm like, no.
But let me go back to what I was saying before about Shogun. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Some people think the ending is a letdown. but and they're correct because it's like the vibe is like there's gonna be a huge battle, and it's just like no, you're not paying attention to like what the story is about. I mean, I'm sure we'll get next season if it gets renewed, there'll be a battle of some sort. But the story is about how one like warlord became like ruler of Japan in some era, like because Shogun is like the like ultimate leader, but that isn't the emperor, right? So like the premise is like there was an emperor that all these generals like swore fealty to. He dies. His young son then becomes emperor, but he's a child, so he can't lead Japan. So these generals are like, we will do it. And then they're like, of course, like the main guy you follow around. The rest of the generals don't like him, so they're trying to get rid of him, right? So it's just a whole premise of like he's still loyal to the past emperor, and he's like, no, this is unjust, I will write it. So it all becomes a story about political movements, right? So it's like you think there's gonna be this massive battle, and then because of what he's done, he's like been really tricky and like smart and like strategic about things. There's no battle. They literally, all these armies go to the battlefield, and the dude that's trying to kill this our main character is like, oh, I don't have the emperor's son's allegiance anymore, so I cannot fight. So people just walk away. So it's just, I'm like, it's great, and it's like, I mean, for a show that's primarily subtitles, and I live in a world where I half watch things and listen to it, it had me engaged. And I was like, it's very interesting, and it's like I never really like went into sort of like the feudal Japan era stuff. I've never really been interesting, so it's like I highly
Ninja Turtles 3 though.
Oh yes, exactly. No, actually, you're absolutely correct. But like it's a show where a lot of things, like a lot of nothing happens, but is intriguing because it's like, because you're like, look what you can do without doing. There doesn't have to be like people get their heads cut off and stuff because they do like seppuku, whatever. I'm totally mispronouncing that. So like it has the ability to be like some bloody thing, but it's not the main focus. So it's like, it's interesting that I finished that series after finishing Rebel Moon, and I'm like, these are both stories where almost nothing happens, but one is good and one is Rebel Moon.
I think I might
So
I realized I'm over like when something is just all action. I'm old and I lose like my interest in it or something. I'm just like, that's when I fast forward now. I'm like, where's the talking? Can they sit at a table and hash this out with the conversation? You know what I love? The end of Sicario when Benicio del Toro shows up to Emily Blunt's place. I'm like, this is like the greatest scene ever. This is what I want to watch. That's what I like. I like that kind of stuff. So Shogun sounds like it's going. The Leafs just tied the game up at 2, Brock. Just let you know, you have my full attention. Sports.
So yeah, it's kind of a bummer because it's like, oh, Shogun's done now. I don't have a Tuesday show, but that's okay. Like something will come up. I mean, we're a month and a half or something away from
a month.
Acolyte. So
month and a week.
Heidi, I'm a millennial. I have my subtitles on constantly. I have all captioning on every show.
And I just missed that, and I can't stand subtitles. Aaron's like, we need subtitles. I'm like, you put subtitles on, I stop watching. No, that being said, Brock, when it comes to foreign films, I prefer subtitles to dubs.
You absolutely need it for Shogun. There's not even an option for that because there are people speaking English.
No, if it's in a different language, I will take subtitles. But when it's in English, just turn up the volume. I don't have a good sound system. Most people do now. Just turn up the volume. That's what I say. I don't want to read my TV, Brock. I spent my childhood, my parents forcing me to read. I've earned the right to watch television with my eyes.
The funny part is I've been watching Palm Royale on Apple TV with Freeham, and
Boston just scored, by the way.
Sports. Carol Burnett is in it, and she is in a coma for the first couple episodes, so she's learning how to talk again. So she like mumbles a lot of things, and then the subtitles will actually translate what she's actually saying. So I'm like, oh, that's what she's saying. That's really interesting.
Sometimes subtitles are wrong though. You've got to be careful. Got to be careful. Sometimes they're wrong. I watched
Yeah.
actually they're probably not on that, but I watched this episode of I think it was Siskel and Ebert or Ebert and I can't remember who it was, but they're talking about subtitles, and there was a movie, and depending on which copy of the DVD you got, the subtitles were different in some scenes. So like there was like a line that no one knew what they said, and you're like, both copies had different subtitles. Anyway, just wanted to bring that up and mention that.
Yes, but we live in a world of AI where everything is perfect. Because most of those things are like open titles.
Also, they probably just grabbed the script and like threw in the script and whatnot. You know, like that's probably legit. It's just back. This is like 30 years ago. Like
Yeah.
you know, like you can't. I can't remember what it was, but they're arguing like no one knows what someone says in a movie, so like we put on the Blu-ray, but both Blu-rays were from like a different studio or something, or not Blu-ray, sorry, DVD. And they were both different subtitles. Yeah, it was before Blu-ray. Was it DVD or VH? It was something, and it was before, and it was like they were different. There was different subtitles on different copies though, and they're like, we still don't know what they said. And that's back when movie critics were ballers.
Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, I'm not saying don't watch Rebel Moon. I'm saying it's like it's interesting to say the least. It's just sort of like, does anybody tell Zack Snyder's like maybe you just take off that chuffa? You know what I mean?
I just want someone to say Zack, like Netflix. Well, Netflix said nobody's gonna watch a long movie. They'll watch a 2-hour movie. Then they're gonna let him make a long movie. He needs to be reined in, like you said. I said this with Wonder Woman 1 because Zack Snyder was a producer on Wonder Woman 1, right? And he wasn't on 2. And I was like, what if 2 isn't as good because they took Zack Snyder off? What if he is the other weight of that? Because like sometimes it takes somebody with somebody to be like, maybe all of you isn't as good as most of you, but you have this weight with like a little bit of a voice of reason who comes in, has a little bit of just like a little bit of creativity to add to it.
You know, I am looking forward to Acolyte, and I'm interested to watch it after watching this. Like I think I hope there's hope on the horizon, but just like we talk about what exactly Star Wars is, and the misuse of like laser swords in this. Like I hope it doesn't like change my view of just like, oh, we have to have a lightsaber fight. It's like, do we though? I mean, yeah, the Acolyte, I feel like we do, but like, I'm very interested to see what actually the Acolyte will have for us.
I think I'm going to make a bold prediction. So all they released like a bunch of screenshots or whatever of the Acolyte. Mm-hmm. I have not been really crazy about what they've been showing us on these screen grabs. In terms of the visual look of it, like it looks like Hercules and Xena in the 90s or something. Like I'm like, what? This is like it shouldn't look like. It looks too flat and like colorful. I'm like, what is going on? But that's not making me not want to watch the show. I'm excited for the show because of what it sounds like it's going to be. I think we're going to get really cool lightsaber fights that hopefully they're lit better than these stills that we're getting, but I think we're gonna get really cool ones. But I think what's gonna make them cool is what we always talk about is the weight. What we talked about last week, I think, is the weight that's gonna go in to these ones. Because I think Jedi are gonna die. There's a threat out there. No one knows what it is, and these lightsaber fights are gonna serve a purpose to those two things happening, to the Jedi that have fallen, and to this secret threat out there. So I do think that whether the story is good or not, I don't know, but I think we're going to get like what that actress said, that she thinks that some of them they're hoping to one up the Phantom Menace, the Duel of the Fates, and
right.
I mean, unless they're like way off the mark, why not? It's like when they were making the Batman, and the producer called the producer of the Dark Knight and said, "We're gonna out Dark Knight. I want to make a better movie." It's like, Whether or not you like it, whatever it turns out is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But go in with the goal to make the best thing you can make. Like, why be like, we're not going to be as good as that? Like, go. So I think we're going to get something exciting. Whether it's better or not, who knows? But I think we're going to get something that we're going to get the best one we got on television.
Yeah, exactly. So, we'll see. We'll see. You know, it's interesting. I think Lucasfilm made the right choice. Though I was thinking about that today. It's like they passed on his idea and then he made Rebel Moon. It's like, well, how much of what you put in Rebel Moon is actually your original idea? You know, like it's sort of like it's unfair to critique.
But also, I think the stuff that you don't like about Rebel Moon would actually probably be stuff that wouldn't make the cut if it was Lucasfilm. You know what I mean? Like, there wouldn't be 20 minutes of farming or whatever, 50 minutes of farming or whatever. Like, they wouldn't allow it. They'd be like, you're making a 2-hour movie, and that's it. Like, I don't think there's any wiggle room with making Star Wars. All right, you want to go to blind rankings?
Let's do it.
Bam! Today's blind rankings. I'm going to name 5 things. Brock's going to put them in order blindly. And today's we're going to talk about Cal Kestis is coming back for Third Jedi Survivor. That might be old news, so we're not talking about that. But we're going to stick with that theme. Blind ranking, it is video game characters, Brock. Star Wars video game characters. Let's be more specific here. We're not talking Link or Mario. We're talking these guys. All right, so we're going to go, and Brock's going to put them in order. Here we go. Star Killer. Starting with a bang.
I'm gonna put him at 3.
Yeah, 3 is like your go-to to start. It's like your full Brock. You're like,
it's sort of like if it was a different character, I'd probably leave it low, but I don't exactly want to put him in the top 2 spots yet.
Fair. Iden Versio.
Oh shoot! I'm gonna take a chance and put her at 2.
Iden Versio. I think Iden Versio is a character that was great for that moment. Could probably use more Iden Versio in some capacity. Strange that she hasn't showed up in anything. Cal Kestis.
Damn. I'll put him in 1.
Kyle Katarn.
5.
Yeah, I have that. And your number 4, and I think pretty much everyone's number 4, it is Revan.
That was what I was waiting for. I wanted him at 1. I was like, who is my favorite Star Wars character? I'm like, it's got to be Revan. Just 4.
No, Revan is number 4. Officially number 4. We're going to put that on a T-shirt and make you wear it every single time we do it.
That's how the game goes.
That's how it is. This is it. This is factual, and this is all there is. And when we're done that, we like to go to the same one we call Never Tell Me the Odds.
Never tell me the odds.
The possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me them. Oh, what happened? Oh, I hit the wrong button. I took the graphic off, not the video. I don't know how to work these things.
Never Tell Me the Odds, brought to you, me, and everyone by patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. If you like what we do, why don't you support us at patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. Get that fresh content when we make it sometimes. And just know when we're doing stuff and be one of the many wonderful few that think we're the best. Like, where's it there? Heidi Feder, executive producer, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Dale Erdman, Phil Staniforth, Rez, Scott D, Josh Price,
Matt W, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Denner Nerds, Disney Desi, Charlotte, Ron Prasak, and Jeff Wilson. Thank you guys.
Boom. Thank you so much.
And our first
the best
today is if the Mando and Grogu movie is a hit, will Ahsoka get her own movie?
I'm going to go 10% just because it's like I mean, you have to have the success of Mandalorian. I want Ahsoka to be like that, but it's not there yet. So, and it's also missing so much in the story. Like it's just like, why do we care? That's just me.
No, I agree. I think the first season of Ahsoka could have been a movie easily. That just could have been a movie. But I'm going to go 11.1%. I'm also low on it because I mean, you're just going to start making movies based on your TV shows. That's the other thing. Like, it's like, do I want that? Yes, because I want Star Wars movies. But also, you can do better than that. Next on, Andor Season 2 will introduce Pow and Biston, everyone's favorite aliens.
I hope so.
From Rogue One, Pow and Biston making their way into Andor Season 2. And they'll be nominated for supporting actor.
I kind of hope so. I mean, they went to the trouble of putting them in all those trailers. I'm going to go 40%.
You're right on with Disney. Desi's 48%. I am going to go full Brock. Full Brock. I don't know if they will get that far, but they are getting really close to Rogue One, obviously, and K2SO is going to show up. And I'm a big Pow and Biston fan, and I really like Pow. Pow was like a standout for me in that movie in like no way. So I really want to see that. So I'm going to go full Brock because I hope they do something else like that. And our final odd today. In Andor Season 2, we will see a lightsaber ignited. We're going to get a lightsaber in Season 2 of Andor. Turned on.
In Andor, you said?
In Andor Season 2.
45%. I don't know who, though, but yeah.
I could probably, yeah, that's the thing. I think they want to stay away from it. I'm going to go 37.8%. I think they're going to stay away from all that stuff. I don't think that's what this show wants to be, and I don't think they want the show to be that. If they did it, I would be all in on it. But yeah, I don't think that's the case. Those are our odds. Let us know what your odds are in the comments to the right. Brock is going to go back now and talk about what he liked most about Rebel Moon. His top 5 Rebel Moon Part 2 moments. Top 5 Star Wars video games, Brock. Top 5 Star Wars video games.
Okay.
There's no news, right?
No, there's no news. There was there's a new 3-minute clip for Tales of the Jedi, and Grievous is in it. That was news. I'm like, so check that out.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for the series to come out. I'm like, I'm in on that immediately. And then there was something else. If they drop
another Acolyte trailer, you gonna watch it?
I mean, that's the problem. For this, maybe. I don't know. I hope they don't. Yeah, they will.
For the podcast, I'm with you, but I don't need to watch it.
Like the Deadpool Wolverine trailer, I'm trying to avoid because I'm seeing still shots on Instagram. I'm like, oh, this looks exactly what I want to watch. So yeah.
I'll say this about that trailer. You don't need to watch it because you're going to watch the movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think it gave away too much. I don't think. It might have. I haven't seen it. I don't think it did. But if you're going to watch the movie, you don't need to. So, yeah.
Oh, there was video game news. I heard Jedi Survivor is now part of the game of Xbox Game Pass. So I was like, oh, that's fun. Yeah, so. Okay, so number 5.
Number 5 is Super Star Wars. Super Star Wars. I like it. I play it. Super Star Wars.
I'm gonna go Force Unleashed.
Ooh, nice one.
Nice
one. Yeah, those were good games. I'm gonna go Bounty Hunter, number 4. Bounty Hunter. Big Jango fan.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna say because it's I haven't played it in forever, but like Rogue Squadron on Nintendo 64, I remember that being like one of the first times where you're flying in an X-wing and it feels real. I'm like, wow.
Have you tried playing an N64 game recently?
I can't think of the last time, but definitely when we played it on this podcast, I was like, oh god, it's
It's like 8 years ago now. It's tough, man. The old I think PlayStation 1 is mostly, but N64 is really tough.
Yeah.
Like PlayStation 2, I still play my PlayStation 2. I just got it a few years ago, but I still play it. And that one's like the graphics aren't great, but they're definitely easier on the eyes. Like like, man, you try to play. Playing GoldenEye is just like a headache. Now. I'm like, I don't know what these boxes are. It's like playing Mario Kart on the SNES on the Mini. I'm like, oh god, just give me 8. Just put the new one on. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It's tough to, like, some old games, like, you can still play, but some of them you're like, N64 especially, because they were figuring out that 3D still. Like, back then though, you had, like, it was amazing. Now it's like, oh god, it's so crude. It's so crude.
Yeah, it's like the days of Polygon, the early days of Polygons is just like, oh man, this was revolutionary when it came out, but now it's like, but like if you play like some older games from like Super Nintendo, Sega era, like I think it's for like the 32-bit whatever it is at that frame rate or whatever, like Sonic or Mario, it's like that's the peak of that era. And then Nintendo 64 is the entrance into what our modern day games are look like. So it's like, yikes! It's like watching the first season of like Seinfeld or Simpsons, or like they were still trying to figure this out. Curb Your Enthusiasm, like they're still trying to figure this out.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, kudos to it. I'm not knocking it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you need to know where it came from.
Yeah, because like, would you get a mini Nintendo 64? I'm like, probably, but I don't know if I could handle it. Like, I don't know if I would play it often. I'm just like I don't have it on the Switch, because you can get the N64. I haven't yet, but I play like Mario 64. But I think did they clean? No, I don't think they cleaned it up on the Switch. I have the Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy 1.
Right.
Mario All Stars. I play Sunshine the most of those three.
Yeah.
To be honest, and even that one, that's GameCube, and that one's easy to. That one they still haven't completely figured out the controls yet, and you're like, figure out the camera, man.
Exactly.
The camera was annoying. Anyway, I don't know how we got onto that, but I lost my phone. Tiny Death Star. I was obsessed with Tiny Death Star. I'm going with time. They canceled it. You can't play it anymore.
I can't believe it. Like. That's a game that like you could easily throw in like Game Pass or the Nintendo Switch store, and like anyone will buy it. Like, oh man, yeah, that was a tiny. What was the original game? Tiny building, tiny apartment, like
tiny tower.
Tiny tower. Yeah. Great. It's super easy. Like it's wild that like in the modern day those games are still relevant. Like I have a game called Beat Cop or something on Nintendo Switch that is the same kind of like graphic vibe to it, and you're just a cop that walks back and forth on a street, and just like you're just, hey, get out of here, kids, or hey, you're putting like parking tickets on the. It's like this will win every time. My number 3 is going to be. There's got to be something in between like Jedi Survivor and Old Republic, because those are my 2 and 1. But what was like? Oh, Battlefront, original Battlefront.
My number 3 is New Battlefront, or we could just go Battlefront. Because I spent hours and hours playing it, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I go with Battlefront as my number 3.
Nice.
Right? Wait. 2. Sorry, 2. When I learn how to do math, Brock, I'm really gonna rock these things. I'm changing our graphic and title for anyone wondering, because we did not talk about Jedi Survivor 2. And I'm not complaining.
Heidi's got it right. this Star Wars 64, definitely one of the standout games for the Nintendo 64 era, and is relevant to this top 5 because basically Star Fox is a rip-off of Star Wars. Basically, like, they're flying around in what looks like X-Wings, and that, like, especially the 64, like, that was, like, it was, like, that look is what made, like, Rogue Squadron successful, like, a couple years later. He does fight scorpions in Super Nintendo Star Wars. My number, my number 2 is going to be Jedi Survivor. I didn't play. No, wait, sorry. Fallen Order. Sorry, Jedi Fallen. I played Fallen Order. I did not play Jedi Survivor. But the Cal Kestis era stuff is just like, it looks so cool. It's just, make this into a freaking movie.
Yeah, my number 1 is Fallen Order. I think it was a lot of fun. Aaron played more of it than I did, but I beat the game. I played Vader at the end because she doesn't like the button mashing and I don't like the finding things. So we trade off on that. I'm terrible at finding stuff. They're like, you gotta. I'm like, no. I play Mario. I run from side to side.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot of fun, and you know what? Like she actually really got into it, and she played a lot of it, and I got to watch it like it was a movie, and I was like, "This is great. This is fun. I would watch this." We'll never get it as a movie because why would they do that? But they're going to make a third game, so these games are obviously successful. So why not parlay that into I think you have an actor who's of age still, who's playing the character who looks just like. It's not like they made the character look like somebody else. They made it look like him. So what's the issue there?
You've already scanned him so he can look like himself in the game. So it's just like, you've already got the graphics or the FX ready to go. I mean, I know it's different from film and video game, but it's like you're almost there. So I don't know.
Yeah. And your number 1 is?
My number 1, Knights of the Old Republic, because it was just like, this is like peak, like, look, a successful Star Wars game. Not only was successful just as like existed in the Star Wars world, but also was like, we created characters that have become part of like canon in a sense. Like, it's just like Darth Revan, the reveal, and just that story.
Your number 4 favorite video game character
would have been number 1 if I knew it was coming, and I should have. I flew too close to the sun, so that's where we are. But yeah, no, solid game.
Number 4. He's number 4.
Replayable. I think I tried replaying it like a little of like once the original Xbox was no longer the thing, and I was like, but like I wouldn't mind trying it again just so I could see that story unfold again.
Apparently they're remastering it or remaking it or something, and apparently it's happening and it's still on. They're still working on it. I don't know what that means in Star Wars land. It's probably been canceled. But they claim that it's still happening, so it might happen. It'd be nice if it did. I'd probably give it a shot because I don't know how it would be going back to it. And I've never played it. Fun fact, never played it. Not my style of game, but I might try it out if it was not N64 looking. Because I don't know if I can handle that world anymore. It's a tough world. But like I said, like PlayStation 2 though, I put on like Resident Evil 4, and I have this Batman the Animated Series game, and I'm like, yeah, I can figure these. Like those ones you can figure out. Hockey's hockey, and football's football. Football on the Wii though, oh my gosh, no, just but like N64, and I think PlayStation the first one. It's like. They were all. Like, I remember going into what was it called? Mega Play? Was it Mega Play?
Oh, Microplay.
Microplay, yeah, Microplay. Yeah. I went to a Microplay at some time, and they had a football game on the Dreamcast on the TV up high, and I walked in and I go, wow, that looks real. And now you look at it and you're like, that looks horrible. But back then I'm like, oh my god, look how good that looks.
They have a couple of video game consoles at the Skydome or the Rogers Center, and it's showing like MLB The Show, like the newest version, and it's I think it goes into a mode that when no one's playing it, it just shows clips of like the Blue Jays playing, and our camera guy has gone up to it, and it's like he starts shooting, and I'll look over, and it's like, is that real? He's like, no, that's the video game. I'm like, because like Ace, the mascot, will come out and dance when there's nothing happening, and then like the players will just be like talking on the game. Will be like just like looks like they're talking to each other as they're waiting for like the play to start again. I was just like, that's crazy. Like there was one point in like Kevin Biggio's on there. I'm like, that almost looks exactly like him. That's crazy. So it's crazy how good it looks now.
It's almost too real now. It's like getting to a point like, jeez, it's that's awesome. I have MLB The Show 2015 with Joshua Donaldson on Daryl, our friend Daryl, he's like, how do you still play it? It's old. I'm like, it's baseball. It's like you throw the ball across the plate and you try to hit it. I don't care who's on my team.
I've never understood why they haven't made. I mean, a couple years ago I can understand, but like they should just make the MLB like FIFA, the whatever the football game's called now, or the MLB The Show. Just make it a subscription and just constantly be updating.
I'm with you on that one too. Like, but people buy them I think, what is it, like every odd year is what people like to buy of those things. I think it's like for some reason the odd years are the years you get. I'm just like, man, I'll play RBI baseball on Nintendo. I don't care. Like, it's literally, baseball is literally throwing a ball across the plate and trying to hit it with a bat. That's what it is. Because I mean, I know they add like little things to it, and you can like, ooh, look at me, I can toss the ball in my hand. That's great, but at the end of the day, it's the same game. Like, it's fine, and I don't care how old my game is. Now, if I had a Nintendo 64 one, we might have a different conversation, but I don't. So it's I'm okay. I don't understand how they haven't gone subscription too, other than they want your $80 but they could charge you enough every year, and then they wouldn't have to redo the entire thing because it would cost less for them to probably do the little tiny things they're doing, and then they could charge you like $50 for this season. So, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't say anything though, because maybe that'll ruin us even more. Because people also get mad at subscriptions now for everything.
My favorite thing is, have you ever heard of Rocket Money? It's like an add-on a lot of podcasts.
No, I haven't.
It's a service that will look at your bank account and your credit card and see where you're paying for subscriptions that you don't use anymore. So it's like so it'll like eliminate any fees that you don't want to pay for anymore by charging you a fee. I every time I hear it, I laugh. It's like, so you're going to charge me a fee so that you can get rid of all the others. Like, instead of paying these people money, pay me money. And
here's a question, because you have a lot of subscriptions, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more or less.
Well, it's just for argument's sake, you do. Like, how many can you possibly have that you don't know about?
Exactly. Like, I was thinking about that.
You have to know. Like, at some point, because I had one, I'm like, I got charged Audible. I thought I canceled Audible, but I suspended it, and then it came back. I'm like, but I noticed it after like 2. I'm like, Audible. So I reached out to Audible. I'm like, guys, and they refunded me my 2 months or whatever. Because I'm like, I want to pay. Give my $30 back. Aaron uses Audible. I can't do audiobooks, Brock. I try, and I'm like, read it faster.
I am okay on occasion with audiobooks, but I just don't understand the value in the Audible subscriptions, because you just get a free book per month, right?
Here's the value. It is valuable because audiobooks cost $9,000 and the subscription costs like $10. So you get like a $30 audiobook for free once a month. But
it's still like $14-15, so it's just like,
well, yeah, whatever. But you end up, so basically you get the one book for like half price, basically, is what it is. But you have but the thing is, all of these things, I think Spotify you can get books for free with but
kind of not.
All of them you have to have a subscription to listen to audiobooks.
Yeah.
Or you have to pay full price. So basically, yeah. So you do Audible and you pay for it, but then you get credits, and then you can get the audiobook for like 12, whatever the hell it is after tax. What, $12, $13, whatever it
Yeah.
is, 15. So but they're usually like $25 to. They're
Yeah.
really expensive.
No, I
To
know.
me,
They've
anyway.
always been
So
expensive.
yeah, so that's why. Aaron listens to them usually. She uses the podcast more, but yeah, she was all into Audible. And then she let like the like credits like accumulate, and then when you want a book, you just like, I'll listen to this one. And
Yeah, but it's just like it's a weird. It's like it's a subscription that has to be for a person that wants it exactly 12 audiobooks a year and is listening at a pace that at least they're not the money gets used. But someone like me who is like, I could probably crush 2 audiobooks a month. It's not a worthwhile. It's just like there's like the person like Aaron's probably the perfect customer for, or like the perfect person to benefit. But like they want people that are like, I'm gonna do it for one, get bored of this audiobook and forget about the subscription. It's just like
you can also return audiobooks after like 30 days. It's weird. You can like, I think if you have it and you're like, I didn't like that, you can return it. You just like say, I didn't like that, and they're like, all right, and they refund you. So theoretically, you could go for, but I don't do that because I don't think Aaron's ever. I don't think I've even told Aaron. But no, but you have to have the subscription to listen to the audiobooks. That's the catch.
yeah, no, I know. Because I did the trial and got 2 free audiobooks. I'm like, I enjoy this. I am not paying $15 for just one a month. So it's like, but that's just me, right? Like, so.
No, but it's $15. But you'd have to buy the audiobook. And look, the worst one though is Kobo. I love my Kobo.
Yeah,
I love my Kobo.
yeah,
But they have a subscription, and I'm like, $10 a month. They're like, any book you want, you can get. I'm like, let's do it. So I go 10 because again, the digital books are like 15. I'm like, this is stupid. So like $10 a month, and you get, what was it? Oh, it's unlimited reading. That's what it is. It's like it's basically like it's a library. I'm like, this is genius. Let's do it. So I do it for a month, the free month, and every book I selected was not included
yeah.
in the plan. And then at the end, I cancel. Like, why'd you cancel? I'm like, because none of the books I want to read are included. And they always send me their like, because I'm a VIP member of Cabal. Yeah, I pay for it, $10 a year. You get points, and then like with the points, you can get a free book. And there's no limitation on that, but it takes like 900 books to get a free book. But whatever, that's besides the point. They'll send me like codes or like 50% off or like enjoy a free read this month.
Yeah.
And no book I want to read is included in any of those. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, just give me my book. Like, I'm like, this book is $10. You're gonna give me this one that I have no interest in. That's $12.
Yeah.
You're making a $2 profit. Like I say, you give me, and then So that's what really annoying.
It's always been that way though. Like when it was just books in a store, and then like the one aisle where there's audiobooks, it's like the audiobooks were always more expensive, which makes sense because there's a little bit more involved in producing something, especially are the ones that have like background audio. It's not just some person reading, but it's like Spotify, like you said, it's like has a audiobook section, but it's the same idea where like most of the big books that you are probably interested in reading, you have to purchase separately, which again, I get. Like you're a writer, they can't like, if you've written something, you don't want to have like that affects the writer if it's like, well, I'll sell it to you for $5 or whatever, even like, you know what I mean? Like it's, unless it's like it's preceded its success, like you don't want to take away from the writer if it's just an up and coming. It's like, oh, I've heard something about this, or this looks interesting, but it's just like, it's just there, but it's like, it's not there. It's like, I don't know. It's a whole thing.
And that's our PSA on audiobooks. How about how do I feel about audiobooks with subtitles?
Those are books.
Those are just books. I we're still recording. Aaron just walked in. Is you done?
I heard it. All right, let's end the show.
We gotta end the show.
That's a wrap, baby. We've been talking about Star Wars and whatever we could think up that's Star Wars related.
Rebel Moon. I might go watch Rebel Moon right now.
Just like tell me how far you get in before you're like nothing's happening in this movie. Like what's going on? How quickly can you go to 1.5 speed?
I will watch it, not tonight, but maybe tomorrow night or this weekend. I'll give it a shot. The Rebel Moon podcast. Maybe
Perfect.
We should change it to that. Yeah, I think people would really dig that. All the Snyder fans would be like, "There's a whole podcast dedicated to Rebel Moon." We're gonna get a lot of hate clicks on this one.
Perfect.
I call it Rebel Moon 2, a complete mess.
The Snore Maker.
I don't know. Maybe I might just hold out for his R-rated ones. Because if they're
Yeah,
longer and they're fleshed out, it's a full story. Why would I waste my time with a short one?
They can't be longer. It's 2.5 hour movies. It's just
I'm pretty sure it's like 4 hours. He made longer movies. Yeah, look. I don't know. He made longer ones, Brock.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to believe that longer ones. I don't believe that a longer movie makes a better movie, but with Zack Snyder, that might be the case. I don't think he's capable of telling a short story.
Just make a TV series.
Isn't Watchmen like 3.5 hours?
It's long. I don't think it's that long.
Well, I don't know how long it is. I saw it in the theater opening night at Scotiabank Theater.
Nice.
Man, it was like the Much Music premiere. I don't remember how I got into that. I was like, why am I here? There was all these like mediocre celebrities there. Watchmen, 2 hours and 42 minutes. It's 2 hours and 42 minutes is Watchmen. That's still long.
Insane.
Not as long as I said it was, but it's still long. It's a good movie from what I remember. All right.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say?
No. Watch Rebel Moon and complain with me next week. Not you specifically, just in general.
I'll watch it. I don't know if I'll watch it, but I'll probably watch it by next week's show. Why not? Mm-hmm. It's so long. Yeah. Just finding the time to watch it and knowing that it's probably not going to be worth my time to watch it. That's the other thing now. It's like I'm still only like 4 episodes into the Godzilla. I haven't watched the Godzilla show since we last talked.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I've still got to watch that, and I want to watch the Fallout show, and I want to watch. I mean, I got to watch Dune Part 2 again at some point. Like
Perfect.
$30. It's $29.99 to buy it, and I'm just like hard no. So I got the first one for $4.99. I can't spend $29.99 on the second one. Has it gone down in price? Yeah, I can rent it for $25. All right, Brock, this was a blast. We'll be back. Do you have Jays next week?
Yeah, but not on Wednesday.
Oh, actually, next week we might not be live on Wednesday.
Cool.
Because isn't it May 4th on Saturday? Yes. So we'll be on next Saturday. You'll get us. Not next Wednesday, but we'll be Wednesday. But you guys will see us on Saturday. Thanks everybody for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And Brock, you were always have a good night, everyone. Brock, you were always scum.
Rebel scum.
Scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.